If you stopped me on the street here in China and asked for directions in English, I might freeze and say,
Sorry, my English is poor.
But here is the strange part. I have studied English for more than 20 years. I started learning English when I was 8, back in 2001. I scored 131 on the English section of the Gaokao. Later, I scored 101 on the TOEFL. I was also accepted to Northeastern University in Boston, but I couldn't afford the tuition, so I didn't go. On paper, my English looked pretty good, but in real life, I could barely express myself in English without preparing first. Even now, when I record voiceovers, I still need phonetic symbols and marked pauses in my script. So, where did all those years of English go? I think there are 4 main reasons. The first reason is that we learn English for tests, not for real conversations. And we may spend more time and effort on English than you might expect. This is an ordinary bookstore near my home. Even children under 6 can use interactive bilingual books. Many children start learning English in 3rd grade. In the Gaokao I took, English was worth 150 points, the same as Chinese. At university, many students also take 2 national English exams. They are called CET-4 and CET-6. But most of this learning is still focused on passing exams. A Chinese student can study English for more than 10 years without even having a real conversation in English. I grew up in Yining, Xinjiang. It is a small city near China's western border. I was never properly taught how to use phonetic symbols to pronounce words either.
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
啥？
Persuasion.
Persuasion. But that never stopped me from passing English exams. The second reason is that after graduation, we really need English. My coworkers and clients were all Chinese. The apps and the services I used were also almost all in Chinese. But Ski had a very different experience. He went to school in Zhejiang. He had better English learning resource than I did.
Flash helped them identify the license plate very slowly.
After university, he spent a year in the United States studying for his master's degree. Today, he works in U.S. real estate investment. Many of his emails, meetings, and conversations with clients are in English. The biggest difference is simple. He kept using English while I stopped. There is a Chinese saying, 用进废退. Roughly, it means use it and it improves. Stop using it and it fades. That is exactly what happened to my English. The third reason is that English usually comes to us through translations. We grew up watching Hollywood movies. We read novels from Europe and North America. We played games from overseas. But all of them were available in Chinese. In fact, subtitles are a normal part of watching content in China. Even Chinese TV shows usually have Chinese captions. We also have something called 弹幕. These are comments that float across the screen while a video is playing. We can watch the show, read subtitles, and follow the comments at the same time. Maybe we all have a little 二郎神 in us, the Chinese god with a third eye. So naturally, we have less reason to learn English, just to understand that content. And after years of studying for tests, many of us can read English much better than we can speak it. Speaking English in real time is a completely different skill. The fourth reason is that we are afraid of making mistakes. At school, mistakes cost points. So many of us developed a habit. We learned to answer only when we were sure we were right. When an English-speaking tourist asks us for directions, we may understand words like hotel or station. We may even know the way. But then the questions start. What if I pronounce something wrong? What if they ask me another question? What if I point them the wrong way? So the safest answer becomes, my English is poor. I used to think staying silent was safer than getting it wrong, but one evening, staying silent was not an option. This is the hotel next to my old office. It often hosted international tour groups. One evening after work, I met a Filipino couple. They pointed at their phone and asked me for help. But my English wasn't good enough to understand what they really needed. So I called Ski. He was on his way home from work, but I asked him to come over and help. It was March, and it was very cold outside. So I invited the couple into my office. We tried a mobile hotspot. We even swapped SIM cards, but nothing worked. Eventually, we realized that the husband needed to make an urgent work call. My phone could make international calls, so I handed it to him. He stayed on the phone for more than half an hour. After they returned home, they emailed Ski to thank us. Our communication was far from perfect, but we kept trying. In the end, perfect English did not solve the problem. Patience did. So, yes, the language barrier in China is real. When someone says, my English is poor, it may hide years of study and a fear of making mistakes. It does not always mean I don't want to help. Sometimes it means, give me a moment, I'm trying to find another way. I hope this video can help us understand each other a little better. Personally, I feel very lucky. YouTube has given me a real reason to use English and communicate with you. I once tried using an AI-generated voice. I even thought about using only subtitles and no voiceover, so I could hide how poor my spoken English was. But in the end, I realized that real human connection comes from a real voice and honest expression. I'm grateful for the education that gave me this foundation, and I'm grateful for your kind comments. Your encouragement has taught me that communication matters more than perfect English. I'm Chen Chen, and I live in Shanghai. I still have many stories from China to share. Subscribe if you would like to see more. I will see you next time.